Hi, I'm just making some notes about programming the OSD on the Kylin 250. So first of all, let's cover some cabling notes. We need an FTDI 5-volt module to complete this task, and we need to make up a wire. Now I took this wire that was in the kit when it came. I had to chop the end off, and this pin only had 4 wires connected, so I've had to connect a fifth wire because we need 5, and we need the pattern to look like this. So we've got ground to ground, 5-volt to 5-volt, RX to TXD, and TX to RXI, and the reset pin. Now that's in the manual, in the Kylin manual, they've called it a TDR, but it's actually DTR. So let's just call it a reset pin. They want to go together. And the CTS, if your FTDI module's got one, we don't need that. We're not going to have a connection there. So just a point of note is that way around is correct. So that is pin 1 there on the left, and pin 5's on the right. Now I bring your attention to that because in the manual it's got pin 1 on the left, which is correct, of course, when the board is upside down like that in the Kylin. So when we spin it up the right way, we're going to put our pin 1 and turn it over and put it in this way, like this. Okay. The other thing you're going to have to note is that when the board is inside the Kylin, because of the thickness of the carbon fibre, to get the connector to go all the way in, we need to chop the edges off the sides. Now normally, if I can do this and hold the camera at the same time, at the bottom bit here there are some little standout edges, and they stop the lead going all the way into the Kylin, so it won't work. So I just took a pair of snippers and cut that off to allow the plug to go all the way in. Okay, so that's the first part. I'm going to need the software. So if I just connect that up, you should see that when we put that into the Kylin, like this. Very difficult holding the camera and connecting everything up, so just forgive me on that. Push that all the way in, and connect. We need 2 types of cables here for me, because I need to have the old style USB and that on. So when it's plugged in, if that plug goes all the way in, you will actually see your system light up. You'll know if you don't cut the tabs off, you'll not get the connection and you'll end up with all sorts of trouble. Okay, so now we need to download we need to download 2 pieces of software. We need the OpenPilot software, and we need the MinimOSD config software installing on your PC. The reason for that is that when we're going to program the OSD, we need to turn the Flexi Port, or disable the Flexi Port on the CC3D, so as I can have my data coming out of this port for the OSD. So we can download both bits of kit. I mean, it's not really in the scope of this video for showing you how to do that, but if you do a Google search, I'm sure you're going to find the right piece of software. What I have here is downloads OSD config OSD 2.0 zip here, and I can run this application file here. Okay, so first of all, we need to connect in the other USB socket in here. Be careful not to catch that on the carbon fibre, because of course it is conductive. I don't want to release the magic smoke. So let's plug that one in. Right, so I'm going to unplug this USB, and I've put a white end on this one so we can see which one's which. So I'm now plugging in the Kylin into the normal USB. Just sort this out a bit. Right, okay. So we've got the Open Pilot connected. I'm going to go into the configuration tab, and I'm going to alter the Flexi Port setting to disabled, and then I'm going to click save down here. Okay, so that's saved. I will now unplug this one and plug in my FTDI, and I will start up the other bit of software from my zip file, which is this one. Okay, I need to know what COM port I'm on. Now, I know it's COM port 3, so I'll just swap to that again, not really in the scope of this video to discuss how to work out which COM ports you need to be on. And I'm going to press the read from OSD. Okay, so that's done that. I'm going to click on panel 1. Now you'll see that actually I've changed some of mine around already. I put my battery up here, and I've got my pitch and the roll on the right hand side, so as I can just look once to find out, you know, what I look like, you know, whether what the orientation's like. I've got my throttle here on the left. Any notifications here like low battery or disarmed, and I've just moved everything over just right to the outsides because my screen can actually take it. As default, these are more into the middle, just in case you're using a screen so it doesn't disappear off the edges. So we can turn all things on. You know, I could put the I've turned the horizon thing off, which is that one there. I don't particularly like that, if I'm honest. I find that distracting, so I've turned that one off. So once you've gone around and played, you can put this call sign in here, which transmits. I've not found a way of actually getting that to display on the screen, if I'm honest. I don't know what I'm missing there. So that's that. I've found no use in changing any of these, to be honest. This setting here is very significant. If I put this to channel 8, say, and I'm not transmitting on channel 8, then I will get a strange error warning saying that it's in setup mode, and you cannot get rid of it. And that would be an overlay on your screen. So on the it says something like UAV in setup mode, and I couldn't get rid of it. It spent me about an hour. In the end, I worked out I'd altered this because I was playing around with this, and if depending on the connection you've got, if you've got a signal on channel 8, it's fine. But if you've not got a signal on channel 8, then it gets mighty confused and creates this setup error. So my advice, leave that disabled. Don't forget to save the current tab. Now that's referring to these tabs up here. So if you're going to change something, write that tab. Then if you've made changes on panel 1, go on there and save to OSD like this. Otherwise, you're going to get into all sorts of mess. You're going to wonder why it's not changed when it has. So we can now unplug this. Unplug it. Plug the timing back in. This is really important. This is where some people are failing, because if you don't put this setting back, you will see the disarmed error. The other one is it says disarmed. It sometimes says no Tel Com error. Widely reported with this model, and as far as I can work out, it's because this setting here is not correct. Now, bear in mind, this is also really important. The settings I have here are because I'm connecting using this one port here, channel 1. Now, all these are completely different depending on which type of receiver connection you've got. If I jump up to the very top, okay, we're looking at it here. So in the manual, this one here, so these settings are for PWM. Now notice what happens as we come further down the screen. Now these settings are for PPM, and there's some differences here. The next settings are for, let me go back, S-Bus. So these settings are for S-Bus. And again, these settings are if you're using a DSM module, like this one for instance. So the Tel Com and disarmed issue, from what I can work out, and I've spent at least a day on this, are all related to the settings on these screens. So you must get the correct type of setting for the correct type of RX connection that you're using. Hopefully that will solve some issues for people. So if I now boot up my on-screen display, which I'm going to have to just grab from over here because I've not got it plugged in. Well, I guess really you have to just trust me because it's going to take me some time to connect that up, but the on-screen display will now have changed to my new setting. Let me know if you have any. It'd be interesting if you find something different that I haven't picked up. But like I say, after a full day yesterday playing around to really look at the disarmed and no Tel Com issues, I didn't come up with anything other than those settings are related to the type of RX that you're using. Thank you for watching.